What is Shivratri? Shiva means auspiciousness or to enlighten, and Ratri means night. The night where we harness this Shiva Tattva to become enlightened is called Shivaratri. The word Maha means grand. So Mahashivratri actually translates into the grand night of enlightenment. Such a heavy name for a festival, don't you think? The name of the festival only is so promising. The Grand Night of Enlightenment. Now, what is so grand about this night? And in one night, can one really become enlightened? Well, if we know how to, we can. The festival of Navratri has some deep scientific principles embedded in the stories, traditions, and rituals that we have been listening since centuries. But today, many of us are not aware about it. So, this is yet another attempt to combine science and spirituality. So, together, let us explore why we do what we do during the festival of Shivratri. When do we celebrate Shivratri? We know that the moon waxes and wanes throughout the month and gives us the phases between the new moon and the full moon. The night between Trayodashi and Chaturdashi, that is between the 13th and 14th night, is called Shivratri. So actually, there are 12 Shivratris in a year, but the one that occurs in the month of Magha according to the Hindu calendar is called as Mahashivratri. In the northern hemisphere, this is just before the first new moon night of the sun's northern run. This Mahashivratri is considered to be the most auspicious among all other Shivratris. But why? Why do we celebrate Mahashivratri? Today, even modern science is studying the impact of celestial forces on all creatures of this planet, not only humans. Among all the celestial bodies, the most prominent effect on the earth and all its inhabitants is that of the sun and the moon. This is seen right from the tidal waves to the seasonal cycles on the planet to the sleep cycles and the menstrual cycles on the human body. But along with these effects at the physical level, we are impacted at the mental level as well. मन और moon, mind and moon के बीच में there is a very obvious connection. If the moon's gravitational pull can lead to tides in the ocean, our body too is 70% water, boss, right? Don't you think that the moon would impact both our body and the mind as well? Vedanta says that the moon is in fact the presiding deity of the mind. The mind is the source of all the entangling desires and emotions. But on this night of Mahashivratri, the overpowering nature of the mind is said to be at its lowest. And there is a natural upsurge of energy in the cosmos. If we can tap into this energy and channelize it to control our minds, we can unlock the total human potential, experiencing complete freedom. So to sum it up, this night is the most conducive in the year for our spiritual growth. But what do we have to do for that? How do we celebrate Mahashivratri? The Mool mantra of Lord Shiva is the Panchakshari mantra, which has 5 syllables: Na, Ma, Shiva, Ya. So I am going to divide this into 5 segments. First, we will see 5 stories of Lord Shiva. We will see 5 symbols, 5 avatars, 5 offerings that Lord Shiva likes, and finally 5 things that we have to do tonight. Okay? So story 1, Nilkant. Poison emanated from the Samudra Manthan was consumed by Lord Shiva to save the world. If he had swallowed it completely, it would have destroyed him. So he kept it in his throat and became Nilkant. Through this, Lord Shiva has shown us to deal with the bitterness that is around us without becoming bitter ourselves. We must learn to deal with the distasteful experiences and still spread sweetness around. Story 2. Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu had this battle of supremacy. Horrified at the intensity of this battle, the gods asked Lord Shiva to intervene between Brahma and Vishnu. Now, to make them realize the futility of this fight, Lord Shiva appeared as a huge column of fire between Brahma and Vishnu. Awestruck by its magnitude, Brahma and Vishnu decided that we will find one dead each to decide who is supreme. Brahma assumed the form of a swan and went upwards, and Vishnu as Varaha went into the earth. But this light had no limit. And though they searched and searched for thousands of miles, neither could find the beginning nor the end. Finally, Lord Shiva, who is inherently formless, revealed himself in the form of a linga. So we celebrate today as the birth of Lord Shiva in this form and hence worship the linga. Story 3. The marriage of Shiva and Parvati. After the demise of goddess Sati, the first wife of Lord Shiva, he went into deep meditation and undertook severe penance. Sati, reincarnated as Shakti, worshipped Lord Shiva with utmost devotion. She was then reunited with Lord Shiva. The union of Shiva and Shakti as Ardhanareshwar is also celebrated as Mahashivratri. When a linga is installed on a yoni, it represents the union of Shiva and Shakti, that is the beginning of creation. Story 4. Once, a tribal hunter went into a forest and he lost his way. He saw a bilva tree. It was late in the night, so he decided, let me just spend a right over here. He climbed the tree. Now, but to stay awake, he plucked some bilva leaves and he kept dropping them on the ground, chanting Lord Shiva's name. By sunrise, he noticed that he had dropped thousands of leaves on a shivling which he did not realize was there. Lord Shiva was so happy with his devotion that he blessed him. Now from here comes the tradition of staying up all night, chanting the Lord's name and offering bilva leaves. Story 5 is Natarajara. It is believed that on this day Shiva danced the entire night in divine ecstasy. The entire universe with its movements of the globes are expressed using 64 steps of the Shiva Tandava. 5 symbols. First is the crescent. It is actually the shape of the moon on the night of Shivratri and it represents the control over the mind. Second, Trishul. It represents the 3 aspects of our consciousness, the waking, dreaming and deep sleep state. It also represents the 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. The divinity is beyond the 3 gunas, but it holds the 3 gunas together. Shul also means problems or suffering. So Trishul is that which destroys all kinds of suffering. The snake around Shiva's neck represents fearlessness, power and control over one's ego. From Lord Shiva's Damru came the Shiva Sutras, which is believed to be the birth of the Sanskrit language. And Sanskrit is the mother of all languages. So basically all alphabets and vowels of the word are emanated from Lord Shiva's Damru. And the last symbol is ash. The bhasma that Lord Shiva smears on his body and applies on his forehead represents that we came from ash only to become ash. That everything in this world is temporary. 5 avatars of Lord Shiva. The Shiva Purana actually mentions 19 avatars, but for now let us just pick 5 of them. First one, Veerabhadra. Veerabhadra came to be after goddess Sati immolated herself in the Dakshayagnya. Ashwathama is said to be the Vish Purush that sprung out of Shiva after he consumed the poison during the Samudra Manthan. Third, Hanuman. Hanuman easily is the most famous and my personal favorite avatar of Lord Shiva. Okay. Fourth, Durvasa. Durvasa took birth as a sage on the planet to restore discipline and he was a strict disciplinarian. And Grihapati, 5th, is the Lord of all directions. Grihapati. Lord Shiva is called Abhishek Priya. So these are the 5 forms of offerings or in the form of Abhishek that can be done to Lord Shiva. From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. we offer milk. From 9 p.m. to midnight we offer curd. From midnight to 3 a.m. we offer ghee. From 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. we offer honey. And then finally water can be offered anytime, 24/7. Okay. Finally, the 5 things that we have to do during Shivratri tonight. Number 1, fasting. Upavas literally means to stay with the Lord. Upavas. Here it is advised to fast on fruits and milk alone if possible and not to consume cereals during the day. Fasting basically prepares our body for meditation. Number 2, Jagran, that is staying awake at night. See, the single most important aspect of human evolution was moving from a horizontal spine to a vertical spine. Our body has 72,000 nadis or energy channels. The spine is the stem while the brain is the flower. These nadis are like the roots and branches that spread throughout the body, while the base of the spine is for the manure and the seeds. Near the base of the spine is the Kundalini, the reservoir of energy for reproduction. Now, this energy can either flow outwards to procreate, or it can rise upwards to manifest the true human potential. This is what yogis call as Kundalini awakening, and as discussed earlier, Mahashivratri is the most conducive time for it. So this is not just a night of wakefulness, but a night of awakening. Number 3 is japa or chanting. We chant Om Namah Shivaya throughout the night. Om was the first sound that emanated from that pillar of light when Lord Shiva appeared as the Agni Linga, and it is believed to be the primordial sound of the universe. So mantras are these potent sound formulas which help us channelize this energy upwards. Number 4 is dance. We sing and dance in ecstasy throughout the night during Shivratri. See, it's a festival after all, right? And festivals are meant for celebration. And what better form of celebration than dancing? I certainly do miss dancing, but tonight I'll make sure I groove. Will you join me? And finally, the 5th thing to do tonight, and the most important thing to do today, is to meditate. There are 2 days in a year which are said to be the most congenial for meditation. One is the full moon night of Guru Purnima, which is the first full moon of the sun's northern run, and the other is the Mahashivratri day, which is close to the first new moon of the sun's northern run. Meditation on Mahashivratri is said to be very, very powerful. So, wishing you all a very happy evening of music, dance and meditation, and we transcend from sound to silence. May we all experience Shiva tonight. Wishing you all a very happy Mahashivratri. Har Har Mahadev.